we have seen a lot of transformative initiatives taking place in our technology space. As you're aware, the digital superhighway and creative economy is one of the thematic areas identified by the Kenya Kwanza administration to drive economic growth for our country, both as an enabler of the other sectors and thematic areas, but also as one of the critical success factors. And if you look at the issues that had been identified for consideration and implementation under this specific thematic area, we have actually had tremendous progress in each of those areas. For example, one of the key areas that had been mapped out was the development of data centers in the country. This year, we have seen a number of milestone pronouncements towards investments in the area of data centers. First of all, we did have the pronouncement by Microsoft and G42 to invest up to $1 billion in digital investments, including establishing an eco-friendly green data center here in Kenya. And I think a lot of work has already begun doing that in Naivasha. We have also seen a number of multinationals also announcing similar investment. Recently, Oracle did announce the setup of a regional cloud center here in Kenya to serve the sub-Saharan market of their clients. We have seen also a number of other private sector players investing heavily in the area of data center. So we continue to see enormous progress in the area of development of the data center, and this continue to set Kenya apart as a leader for a data hub for the region. And from the government side, we also are working on a number of policies to support this area, including development of a cloud policy and strategy that will guide this development going forward. The other major area that we had identified for implementation under the digital superhighway was rollout of digital infrastructure in the country, where we wanted to roll out 100,000 kilometers of fiber, and therefore connecting approximately 100,000 institutions, part of which would be 74,000 government institutions and 25,000 public Wi-Fi. But the bigger impact of this was going to be realized from the number of homes that then can be subsequently connected after this infrastructure has been laid out, and it is our hope that we'll on track to connect 8.5 million households with internet connectivity. So the last 1 year, from a connectivity perspective, again, we have made tremendous progress. First of all, as the ICT Authority, we completed a significant project, which we were calling the East African Regional Transport and Trade Facilitation Project. This was a project that was connecting the northern corridor from Eldoret all the way to Nadapal towards southern Sudan. So we were able to complete this project this year and connected a number of institutions along the way. Approximately 200 institutions were connected to the internet through this project. And in the process, we did lay out over 600 kilometers of backbone and metro fiber. But in addition to that, that infrastructure has then opened up that region and we'll be able to use that backbone to to now go deeper into the interior parts of that region to provide connectivity services. We are already seeing a number of mobile service operators riding on that backbone to enhance voice and data connectivity in that particular region. We have also had the kickoff of another project we were calling the Digital Superhighway Project under the Universal Services Fund, where we have so far connected about 1,600 kilometers this year, in addition to about 400 institutions that have been connected through that project. We also saw a very interesting development this year in the connectivity space, where we welcomed the low Earth orbit satellites into the country. And if you remember, there was a lot of buzz around Starlink, what it can do and what it cannot do. As a government, I think we have already piloted this technology. We have confirmed it's a good technology. There has been a bit of concerns in terms of data security, which the Communication Authority is addressing with the service providers. But we have piloted the technology in a number of institutions as government, and we believe it's going to be a good technology going forward, especially for those institutions that are very far from the grid, both for power but also for the national optic fiber infrastructure. We also had a fundamental shift in our deployment of digital infrastructure this year, where we shifted from deploying fiber optic cable through underground cable to overhead through leveraging our collaboration with the Kenya Power and Lighting Company. We have gotten into a solid agreement that will allow us to take advantage of the infrastructure already built by Kenya Power across the country. We estimate that Kenya Power has approximately 300,000 kilometers of grid infrastructure across the country, and therefore that should help us to achieve the 100,000 kilometers of fiber laying even faster. Been engaging a lot with the private sector for purposes of connectivity. We have discussed with them how they would want to participate from a connectivity perspective. We have gotten into good working arrangements on their participation by allowing them to take advantage of the government infrastructure, which has previously been underutilized because we have excess capacity that the government has bought but is not fully utilized. So we are now allowing the private sector to utilize this capacity and also help us to connect our citizens in the homes and in the businesses. I think the third area of our plan under the digital superhighway was again around, very tied closely to connectivity, was around the rollout of public Wi-Fi's. It is true that in the initial pilot phase in 2023, we did face a number of challenges in deployment of public Wi-Fi. The main issue was because where we were deploying the public Wi-Fi's in the market, there was no ownership of where to install the gadgets. In some instances, we had to negotiate with private citizens to allow us to deploy in their premises. In other instances, we did not have a proper alignment with the local governments who operate these markets. And therefore, we had those challenges where, for example, we had issues of vandalism because then nobody is looking out for the infrastructure. We had issues of power failures or issues of running out of basic things like power token and there was nobody to then pay for the required power. We have relooked at those issues this year, and again now we have developed a more sustainable model for rolling out of public Wi-Fi, where we are pushing for having the public Wi-Fi free access to all government services, and then probably consider a small subsidized fee for other internet services. And we believe that in collaboration with the private sector, we will be able to achieve commendable numbers. So far, we have done approximately 1,500 public Wi-Fis across the country. The other area under the same framework was on the implementation of the digital hubs, which we have been doing together with our sister agency, Konza Technopolis, and again through collaboration with the TVETs and the TVETs Authority, we have been able to deploy digital hubs in most of the TVETs across the country and a few other selected areas. And so far we have done about 278 digital labs, across the country. We have seen tremendous number of young people coming into these centers to undertake training on digital skilling as well as digital jobs. And it is our hope that going forward, we will continue to escalate these initiatives, specifically because the members of parliament have also taken up this particular program. Very recently, we saw that Parliament did amend the National Government CDF Act to allow for the CDF kitty to cater for operational costs for these hubs. So we have gone through a process of designing what model hubs will be, and therefore the members of parliament now only need to select the scale of the hub and the type of hub they want to deploy, and we have provided all the bill of materials and everything that they need to deploy. So our work will only be to provide connectivity, to provide the devices, and also to train the people. So again, in that particular space, we have made quite commendable progress. If you look at the broader plan, which guides our digital transformation, the Kenya National Digital Master Plan, we then also have a number of other critical pillars over and above the infrastructure, which we are following very closely. And one of them is actually around the issue of digital skilling. And I'm happy to report that this financial year, as the authority, we have also made remarkable progress in establishing how this program is going to be rolled out in the next 5 years. So we did develop a very elaborate curriculum for training of digital skills to our citizens. In consortium with a number of training partners, we have now started that process of conducting the trainings across the country. So far this year, we have trained approximately 21,000 citizens. It's a small number compared to the entire population, but we believe it's a good start for us. So the civil servants are actually separate. We have trained about 8,000 civil servants on digital skilling. Again, we continue to collaborate with a lot of our industry players and other players in the development world for us to scale these initiatives. One of the things that is coming out is that, first of all, over and above the general digital skilling we need to do for our citizens, there's a lot of opportunity for ICT professionals here in Kenya and also abroad. For example, it is estimated that we have about 330,000 professionals, ICT professionals in Kenya. But you'll be surprised because 60 to 70% of those professionals are in the traditional ICT roles. So this is support, network management, and database administration, the traditional old ICT roles. But the market has moved on, and majority of the new opportunities now are in emerging technology. So we have a lot of opportunities around AI, data analytics, and cybersecurity. And these are the skilling efforts that we want to focus on going forward, so that then our people can be able to plug into these jobs. We recently actually conducted a demand and supply survey, and we were trying to match the supply of skills in Kenya vis-a-vis the demand in Europe, and specifically in Germany, following the agreement that was signed by His Excellency with Germany. And we realized that as of now, Germany has about 150,000 ICT positions vacant. But the niche positions are actually those specialized ICT skills that I've spoken about. And this is going to continue happening in Germany and the entire of the global north, because you're aware that there's a significant shift in demographic because of the aging population. So they're not able to fill in the gaps that are arising from the job market on that side. So we have a real opportunity then as a country to try and upskill our professionals to be able to take advantages that are in country, but also outside the country. I think the other area of focus for us this year has been on the digitization of government services. And again, we are happy to be part of the support ecosystem and the people behind the eCitizen platform. We have seen tremendous growth on the onboarding of services. We now have over 22,000 services running on eCitizen, and this year alone we had about 12 or so million Kenyans, being able to get at least one service from the eCitizen platform. This is a big milestone. We will continue in the coming year to escalate digitization initiatives within the specific agencies, and we have already laid out the framework to do that. Of significance also for us this year, we did get approval for a World Bank funded project we're calling the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Program. And if you listen to the name, you will realize that that project is very closely aligned with our digital superhighway initiatives and the initiatives we are doing to achieve a fully digitalized economy. So this is a big, massive project. It is structured in two phases. The first phase has just started, which is to a tune of $390 million, and then the subsequent phase will be up to $180 million, which we should be starting in the year 2026, 2027. Through this project, we are again going to see accelerated investments in the three areas that I've mentioned: the area of digital infrastructure, the area of government digitization, the area of digital skills and e-commerce, and creating opportunity, for our young people. We have made again tremendous progress. We have already finalized the design phase of the project, and now looking into 2025, we're going to jump into full implementation. Of course, looking to 2025, we hope that we can build on this foundation to, first of all, accelerate the achievement of the ambitious objectives we have set for ourselves, but also, most importantly, look for areas of deepening collaboration between government, private sector, and development partners, because we believe that we have shared aspirations, and this can only be delivered through collective efforts. We are going from January to be embarking on an accelerated program under the digital superhighway using the Kenya Power infrastructure to connect an additional 5,000 institutions by end of June 2025, leveraging on the Kenya Power infrastructure. We are also hoping that through the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Program, we can connect at least 3,000 institutions in the remote areas of our country using the alternative technologies that we have just discussed, in addition to allowing the private sector to co-invest with government in the deployment of digital infrastructure through a very interesting principle that we have introduced together with the World Bank called private capital mobilization through matching of investments. So this basically means that, for example, when we are deploying backbone infrastructure, for every shilling availed through the World Bank facility, we'll expect the private sector to put on the table 1 shilling. And then we can be able to co-share this infrastructure between ourselves. The private sector can help us maintain and further use the same infrastructure to connect private home and businesses. We estimate that for every 1% increase that we're going to achieve in internet connectivity, it is going to translate to about 5% of economic growth. This therefore tells you that from our current contribution of 9.2% to the GDP, we can easily get to a contribution of about 20%, in the coming 5 or so years. And this is what we are focused on, is what we are geared to. We know that connectivity is going to be a foundational pillar for all the other initiatives. And then finally, as part of ensuring that we have a thriving ICT sector, we do provide a very impactful event, a platform for a very impactful event. It was a successful event. We had representation from about 35 African countries. We had representation from an additional 17 countries across the globe. And we did have a number of ministers responsible for information, communication, and technology. We established, a ministerial forum for Africa, and the ministers at the end of the forum made some declarations which we call the Nairobi declarations, which are going to shape how we collaborate and work together to address, a number of issues in the ICT sector to set Africa apart as a digital leader. So again, in the coming year, it is our hope that working with our colleagues in the private sector, development partners, and all other stakeholders, we can be able to scale this particular event to even greater heights. So that is where we are as ICT Authority. We really want to take this opportunity to sincerely thank all our partners for walking the journey with us, for navigating the handles with us, and also for celebrating the milestones that we have celebrated together with them. We are keen and happy to deepen our collaboration for even bigger things in the coming year. Thank you very much.